It's been a very interesting month with Facebook marketing. And let me first preface this by saying that, my name is G. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Ylopo. This is my second business in the residential real estate technology space. Prior to Ylopo, I was the head of marketing and product for a company called Tiger Lead Solutions, which was from 2008, 2012, before we sold it to Realtor.com, the largest end-to-end provider of lead generation, lead management services for the residential real estate space. And we generated north of 1 million leads a year for our real estate clients. And back then, the world was all about pay-per-click marketing. We started that business and we grew that business off of people searching on Google for homes for sale and getting those folks to come to a website, and a registration form would pop up. You would fill out that registration form and you would become a lead. When we started Ylopo, the reason we did that was because there was a massive sea change from where digital marketing started in search marketing, and it's now shifting all to Facebook marketing. And what's been very interesting is that while it's been in the news with Cambridge Analytica and all of this bad publicity with Facebook, the common perception is Facebook marketing is becoming less effective, people are using it less, and all that kind of stuff, right? The reality is that in the last 30 days, we have spent, every month we spend north of $250,000 a month marketing on Facebook, right? So that's over $3 million a year of advertising on Facebook just for the real estate vertical. I can tell you right now that in the last 30 days, we have had better performance on Facebook marketing than we have ever had, not just in the history of Ylopo, but also in the history of Tiger Lead. So 10 years of experience generating leads in this space, millions of leads. This has been the best last 30 days ever. So why is that? Well, there's a couple of factors. The first is we wouldn't be talking about the dangers of Facebook if Facebook wasn't so powerful, right? Facebook has an incredible amount of information about consumers. And when it comes to real estate, the three things that they have that no other digital marketing platform in the history of the internet has had is that Facebook knows where you live, right? They have GPS tracking on your phone. So they know for almost every person on Facebook, what is your home address? They know how big your family is because they track all of the phones and everyone logged into those phones at a particular household, right? And they also know where you work because you travel every day with Facebook. And so those three pieces of information is the core three pieces of information that is necessary to pretty much predict where and what type of home and how big of a home every person would be predictively interested in, right? Facebook is unique as the only online platform to know those three things. And that's the three pieces of information we leverage here at Ylopo to generate the best quality lead, right? So contrary to popular opinion, our costs for generating leads have been down by about 20% just this month versus last month. The volume of leads we have, we're generating has increased as well. And we're seeing this technology work better than ever. And hopefully today, we get to kind of share with you some of the secret sauce that drives our digital marketing. I want to introduce Barry Jenkins, who is not only a Ylopo super client, but he is one of the best technologists that I've ever met, who is also a real estate agent, who's actually selling homes. And Barry, is the #2 real estate team in the nation for Better Homes and Garden. He's sold hundreds of homes, every year. And so I'm very excited to hear his journey about how he arrived at doing Facebook marketing and depending on Facebook marketing for growing his business. So Barry, can you kind of give a quick introduction and tell your story of how you got here from where you started in real estate?
Absolutely. Honored to just be chatting with you guys. Started when I was 18 in the business. I'm 37 now, so 19 years as a real estate agent. Conventional training was reach your sphere, pass out business cards. you know, and nothing wrong with that. But as my career transitioned and online marketing became a big thing, I started really heavy into the portals, Zillow, Realtor, and they worked. I was able to leverage popular technology at the time. I remember when I had the first auto texter in my market, and you know, when a new lead came in, they would get a text message, and so I was converting them. What started to happen, however, is the cost per lead of those sources got to the point where I was getting ROI, but I wasn't able to grow my business in a way to where it became a business. What I mean by that is I didn't want all the clients to be bottlenecked with me. I wanted to expand. And I'm not going to digress as to why I wanted that, but that's a whole nother story. And so the challenge I had was at $200 per lead, I could only buy so many leads. And so when I started to look into how do I get a large quantity of leads every month, what's the best way to do that? I attempted Google AdWords, and I was able to generate leads, and the cost per lead was typically somewhere around $25 to $30 a lead, depending on the management fees of whoever I was hiring. And so when I began to see the power of Facebook advertising, I dove completely in because I wasn't aware of a technology that allowed me to target the right message to the right person at the right time, the way Facebook enabled me to do that. And so then what I was able to do is say, you know, this neighborhood, I want, you know, let's say the neighborhood's Kempsville. Kempsville, you know, homeowners, I just sold a home in your neighborhood. The market's hot. Or looking to buy in this Kempsville neighborhood, and I'm advertising it to people that are likely to move, according to Facebook, that have searched on a major website for a home recently. And so then I would generate, you know, hundreds of leads off of one ad. And the ROI, of course, was through the roof because I was getting leads for $5, $10, $15, depending on how I was running the ad. So what's occurred is now I'm scaling my business to, I should have 30 agents by the end of the year off of Facebook marketing specifically. I do buy from other lead sources, but they, from a number standpoint, the majority of my leads are from Facebook now because it just, you can't get it done the way that I need it to any other way.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, one key point I want to pick on, you know, Barry, about what you said is that, you know, I think that people misunderstand sometimes why sophisticated marketers like yourself pick Facebook as the lead source, because you're not saying Facebook leads are the best, right? And in fact, I would argue, I mean, I think everyone here knows, everyone in the industry knows that a one-to-one, one lead from Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia is going to be, I would say, in the, you know, 5 to 10 times better, you know, than maybe a Facebook lead, right? A raw Facebook lead that we generate. Why is that? Well, the reason is because someone who goes to Zillow and becomes a lead is someone who is essentially saying, I want to see 123 Main Street, right? And so that's going to be, obviously, that's essentially a showing request. That is going to be a very high quality lead. But the thing that people don't understand is that Zillow gets about 50 to 80 million visitors per month, and they only produce maybe 1 million at tops total leads, right? So in order for them to have a business, they have to sell those leads for an astronomical amount of money. That's why the average Zillow lead probably costs at this point north of $100, right? And the thing is, as an individual agent, when you're buying a Zillow lead, maybe you're only buying 5, 6, 7, 8 leads a month, but you're competing against people, and we have clients who do this all day long, who are spending $100,000 a month on Zillow. They're buying 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Zillow leads and putting in massive investment to do so. And when they do that, they're doing it with enterprise services, with call centers, with hundreds of agents pursuing these leads. And so unless you are going to bring in automation into that process, it's going to be difficult for you to compete, if not impossible, right? So you're not just competing against Barry, who's already really good at working those leads. You're competing against these monster operations. So when it comes to Facebook lead, you can generate one Facebook lead for the cost, 10 to 20 Facebook leads for the cost of one, Zillow or Trulio or Portal lead, right? And not only that, but the lead that you generate is exclusive to you. It's not getting sold to 5, 6, 10 other people, right? So your ability to nurture those leads and turn them into deals as an individual agent or a small team is far superior than if you were to get a portal lead, right? And so that's what's important to understand. And look, we're not telling you that this is a silver bullet, but there is a reason that 8 out of every 10 new marketing dollars worldwide when it comes to digital marketing is going to either Facebook or Google, because these are by far the biggest platforms by which you can grow your business.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, G. That's some really, really interesting information. But I wanted to just take a quick moment to set the stage for everybody about what we're going to teach you and show you over the next 25 to 30 minutes. So we're going to have Barry and G go back to back, work together to teach you guys the principles and the best practices for creating Facebook ads. The idea here is if you're creating your own or if you're outsourcing to someone else, that you've got all the information, you got the knowledge to be able to know what's right and what's working the best today, based on what we've learned from spending millions of dollars on Facebook ads and testing absolutely everything. So G, who is the sort of brains behind all the Facebook marketing at Wailopo, he's going to sort of lift up the covers and sort of show you guys everything right now as far as how this works. So I want to throw you over to G, but quickly, just before we do that, there will be a special offer at the end for anyone who's interested in getting this all done for you. So we can save you a bunch of time as well. We can save you money and do all this stuff for you. But that's certainly not the idea of this webinar. The idea is to teach you guys, educate you guys, and inform you so you can make your own decisions. But if you want to stick around, you want to have all this stuff done for you, there will be a very special offer which can save you a ton of money off our setup fees and to get you guys started right away. But please, the next 25 to 30 minutes is all about learning and teaching. So I want to throw this over to G so he can get going for you. Thank you. G.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you're a novice or you are very experienced in Facebook marketing, I think Barry can attest to this. The best Facebook ad is an ad that provides content that people want, right? It's engaging them with something real. And what's great about real estate is that every single realtor already has content that people on Facebook want, people who are looking for homes, and that is the homes themselves. And so my recommendation when it comes to Facebook marketing is that instead of trying to generate a ad about, search for homes or, if you attend a buyer seminar, all of these type of things, focus on a unique asset that you have that people will be interested in, which 9 out of 10 times is going to be listings. So today, what I'm going to show you is when you have a listing, whether it is a listing that is yours, a listing that belongs to your broker, a listing that's your friend, how do you go about marketing this asset in the best way possible? So for Barry, I'm on Barry's website. This property right here, 1964 Champion Circle, this is what we are going to turn into an ad today. Now, before I go into the ads manager and show you that interface, I'm going to show you the final product first, because I think this is going to help you visualize ultimately what is it that we're trying to create. So the ad that you are seeing in front of you is a Facebook ad that shows up on, your profile page if you are targeted with this advertisement, right? And you'll notice a couple of things. First off, this ad is an ad that features Barry's, image at the very top with Barry Jenkins, Better Homes and Garden, New Homes for Sale, right? So this at the very top of the ad right here is what we call the Facebook page, right? The page title that your ads are created in. This is going to be consistent for every single ad that you create. And what we found in terms of best practice is that you want to use ideally a icon that is a picture of you or a person on your team. and that you also want to not just include your brand, but also include new homes for sale in the title or something related to real estate. That way people understand in a glance what is going on about this ad, but also they know that if they click on this ad, they do something on this ad, that a real person's gonna call them, right? If you have a logo right here, if it's, kind of just a graphic of some sort, there's a sense of disconnectedness when it comes to someone filling out this ad. They're thinking, oh, that's just a company. It's a nameless, faceless entity. But as soon as they see that there's a face icon associated with this, that this is Barry Jenkins' ad, it humanizes the experience. So that's one best practice I would always advocate for. Now, in the ad itself, you'll notice what we've done is we've taken we've added a bit of marketing copy at the very top of the ad, New Virginia Beach homes for sale, motivated seller, to let the person coming, seeing this ad at a glance, know immediately what they're looking for. And then after that, we use the description of the property, the best parts of the description, to then give more detail about this particular home, right? And then from there, all the photos that you're seeing are now photos of the listing in question, right? And in the description, you'll see we put the bedroom, bath, and a call to action, click for more photos in the details of this post, right? Now, one thing you're gonna notice about this ad is that we don't have the address or the price of the home in the ad unit. This is very important, it's intentional. And the reason is because we have found with our research that the two things that people wanna know about a home once they get interested in it is obviously where is it located specifically and what is the price of that home, right? And so if you put that information right away out there, there's no reason for this person to click on the ad and register and give you their contact information. So you're only going to talk to the very limited number of people who actually want to go see that home, right? But when in fact what you want to do is to have a conversation with all of the people that are just somewhat interested, because they might be interested in this home or they might be interested in a similar home, right? So that's why we encourage these people to click on the ad, right? And so now that I've described the ad, let me kick it over to you, Barry. I mean, what is there anything else about marketing a listing in this kind of ad format that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, there was a recent report pushed out from the Realtor Association. They polled home buyers, and overwhelmingly people want more pictures. And the ad format being used here is putting, when I see this ad, the first thing I see is pictures of the home. And that's what the consumer wants. And so rather than trying to create the wheel here, it's they want pictures, they immediately see those, and they can quickly swipe or click depending on the format, but most are on their phones. I just use the public remarks. So, we took time to write the story about the home, and I use those in the ad. And candidly, because of Facebook, I know that I'm putting the product or the house in people's news feed that are interested in the product, which is a new home, to buy a new home. And so to be able to target this product to the right consumer is why Facebook has become such a major part of my growth as a business. Year over year, I'm doubling the number of sold homes because I stopped trying to, convince the consumer where they should look. They're on Facebook anyway, spending hours a day, and pushing that product in this format is it's working.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So great. So this ad that you're seeing here, I hope that one of the reactions you have watching this, whether you've done Facebook ads before or you're just about to dip your toes in, is that, this doesn't look like an intimidating ad, right? I mean, this is an ad that you could create yourself. It's not going to take a lot of time to learn how to get the copy, put in the pictures. I mean, these are all pretty basic things, right? So now that you see that this is actually not as intimidating as you think, let me show you kind of the first, what I would call pro tip around how you should build these ads. When you click on one of these photos, you'll notice that instead of taking the user to a landing page or to my website where I show them more photos of the home, I register, it actually loads up this form right inside Facebook. This product, what I'm doing right here, is called a Facebook lead ad. And what's really interesting about lead ads is, and why did Facebook do this, right? Why did it make this interface where you can click the ad, and instead of opening it up into a website, it opens up into the lead form? The reason is because Facebook found that the number one reason that mobile users in particular did not convert into a lead when they clicked on an ad, the number one reason is load time, right? I mean, we've all experienced it ourselves. You click, you're on the go, you're on your phone, maybe it's not on, highest bandwidth. You click on an ad or you click on anything, it takes 2 or 3 seconds to load, you're out, right? You're just not interested anymore. And so instead of trying to get every advertiser on Facebook to have the highest performing website, Facebook came up with an ingenious idea. They said, why don't we load the entire landing page experience with all of the information that a consumer is going to want to know to fill out a form right inside Facebook? It's going to be instant. It's going to feel really smooth. And the best part for both the consumer and for the person generating the lead is that you'll notice the contact information of the lead is pre-populated in here by Facebook from your Facebook profile. Right now, most people, when they click on this button, their name and email address is going to be exactly what they input into their Facebook profile. So they're going to get accurate information. Someone like Barry and I, we fill out so many of these forms every day. We kind of, we'll put whatever information is needed in there. But the 9 out of 10 times, a consumer is not going to have to enter in their phone number, email address, or their name, which means you're going to get more valid contact information from this form, right? So it saves the consumer time and it gives you better data, right? And if you, Facebook just released its most recent earnings a little bit ago, and they shared a statistic that really blew me away, which is that 94% of their revenue came from mobile advertising. Think about that. They built a product and a user experience perfect for the mobile user, and 94% of the money they make, billions of dollars, comes from mobile advertising. So if you're not using this format to do your Facebook ads, you're wasting money and you're wasting efficiency on Facebook. It's that simple.
Yep.
And anything to add here, Barry?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, a lot of the companies are using the Facebook, you log in via Facebook. And that did give me their number and their name. But the nuance of the lead seeing the information on their screen and then hitting submit, you cannot lose the fact that before, with just saying log in via Facebook, I get their number, I call them, they didn't know I was getting their information. And so with them knowing that they're giving me their information, when I call the lead, just that fact softens the conversation significantly. I mean, it makes a dramatic difference in the responsiveness and the who are you type stuff that normally would happen with the old way that still people are still using, by the way. A lot of vendors are still using login via Facebook, and it's putting you as the marketer at a disadvantage competitively.
One point I want to make, I think this is a big differentiating factor between Facebook and Google, is you can't do this in Google. Google, you've got to send them people to a lead form like this, which is blank. People have to fill out every single piece of information, and the vast majority of the time, they're going to put fake information in there because they know they don't want to be hassled. So this is a massive, massive advantage that Facebook has. So, it's really important you guys take advantage of that. And that's why G's going to show you exactly how to do it right now.
Well, and with the Google example you just gave, I'm so glad you brought that up. In that example, it's easier to fake it, right? Because you just do this, right? With this, it's easier to leave it because I don't have to delete and then type in real information. So they've made it easier to give me the information that I want with this. And that's why I cannot imagine leveraging anything else than something like this, because it puts me in such a competitive advantage.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So, you know, you've just learned now with Facebook advertisement, you want to use it in the Facebook lead ad format, which is going to load beautifully in mobile, right? So now I'm going to give you the second pro tip, which is qualifying questions. So with every lead that we generate at Ylopo, we test all the time what type of data is indicative of a lead being good, lead being bad, lead not interested, interested. And we, you know, kind of basically got it down to 2 questions that we are consistent at asking every single lead. The first is fairly obvious: time frame. When would you like to move, right? Within 90 days, 6 months, 6 to 12 months, next year or more. And then the second is, how would you describe where you are in your home search? Are you on a timeline to move, looking for the right property, need to sell before I can buy, need to find out what I qualify for, et cetera, only looking for rent, casually browsing homes, right? So why are we doing this, and what's the psychology behind this? And I would love for you to speak about this in a second, Barry. So, you know, we've just talked about the advantage of Facebook over Google. And the primary advantage being that with Facebook, because of the lead ad format, we're capturing their proper contact information right from their Facebook profile. But what's the disadvantage? The disadvantage is that that Facebook is a browsing experience. When someone logs on to Facebook and looks at their newsfeed, they're not looking to buy a home in that moment, right? They're not shopping in that moment. They're on there to see what their friends are doing, and a beautiful Facebook ad catches their attention. Whereas with Google, yes, you're going to get people who give fake information, but they didn't get to your website by accident, right? They typed in homes for sale in Virginia Beach. They saw your advertisement, they clicked on it, and that's how they got to your website. So they have what we call in the industry search intent. They are specifically intentionally searching for homes for sale. They ended up on your website. On Facebook, it's the exact opposite. They might be someone who is interested in buying a home. And in fact, they could be someone that just 2 hours ago was on Zillow looking for homes. But in the moment where they click on your ad on Facebook, they are not. It's what Barry always tells me, it's secondary marketing, right? And so when you're doing secondary marketing, you are going to get people who click on the ad by accident. You're going to get people who click on the ad because they're curious. You're going to get people who click on the ad because they didn't read the language on there and they thought that this was a home for rent. It's going to happen. And so you want to make sure that you're asking them the questions that filters out who's serious and who's not, right? And that's why we go about making sure that we don't just capture anyone when they press submit. We want to know 2 qualifying pieces of information that allows us to vet, is this a person I should be in contact with? Anything to add here, Barry?
Yeah, I mean, it's some might wonder if secondary advertising is you know, a downside. And to that I say television is secondary marketing. Nobody goes to television to look for a car. And yet car advertisers spend millions to target their ads on television. Radio, no one turns the radio on and says, let me listen to see if a good attorney is on there. I mean, that just doesn't happen. And yet, on your morning commute, you hear tons of ads for attorneys. And it's because if you know that the consumer is going to be there, you are able to run an ad and catch the people that are interested. But in the first 2 examples, television and radio, yes, I'm able to choose the programming that they're watching or the time of day that the ad is ran, but they can't decipher and say, I only want people that are in this scenario. But in Facebook's example, I'm able to run a similar type television and radio experience, but I'm able to target people that are interested in what I'm advertising. And so for pennies on the dollar, it just makes good sense.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So now that I've filled out some qualifying questions, as a consumer, I'm going to press submit on this form, which then after my information is sent, I can click click here to view photos, and this is now going to take me into Barry's home search experience, right? So, you know, the next part of the journey, once the lead has been generated, this is, you know, about, you know, a lot of the people who start doing real estate marketing on Facebook, they get very excited by the volume of leads they generate very quickly, especially if you are using the lead ad format like I showed you. You know, I've talked to agents who started out Facebook marketing saying, oh my God, I've got a cost per lead of $1 or $2. This, I'm going to crush it, right? And then they get 100 leads, they call all of them, and everyone is saying, why are you calling me? I'm not interested. Who are you? And they get demoralized, right? And the reason for that, and the thing that you have to keep in mind when you're marketing on Facebook, is the average Facebook buyer is looking for a home not today, not tomorrow. Remember, they don't have search intent. They're looking for a home 6 to 12 months in the future, right? And when you're looking for 6 to 12 months in the future, just getting their information up front, calling them and saying, are you ready to buy real estate? That's not good enough. You have to make sure that when they click on your ad and they register, they see content that engages them and gives you an opportunity to brand yourself and gives you an opportunity to get more data about that person, so that in the future, you can market to that person in a relevant way until they are ready to buy. Right. And so with the Ylopo experience, when someone registers and they click on that home, the first thing that we do is we show them the home that they clicked on. Fairly obvious, right? So this is the property they registered on. They can see all the information about this home, price, all of that stuff. But what we also immediately do is we log that person into our website. We've done a proprietary integration to do so, but if you don't use Ylopo, you can do this. You can do, you know, kind of have a similar type of experience with, say, another IDX provider. But what we also have found works really well is not only showing them the home they clicked on, but then showing them similar homes that match the home that they're looking at in the area that they're looking at, right? And the reason for that is because now the consumer comes in, they originally only were showing interest on that one property, and then they say, oh, wait a minute, there's a lot of properties similar to that property. Let me start getting into the browsing experience, right? And so now they went from having spent 5 seconds, 10 seconds looking at your brand, looking at your ad, looking at your home, to, before you know it, 10, 15, 20 minutes of browsing for homes on your website. And in the meantime, we're collecting all of that data about that consumer and sending it to you, which is just as important, frankly, as their contact information, because it gives you context into what this person is looking for. So Barry, I mean, do you want to kind of talk about how important it is to have this home search experience once they click on the ad and how you use that data?
Yeah, so well, first of all, this home search experience is so important that before finding Ylopo, I was running Facebook ads for agents across the country. They would pay me to do it for them. And I have not ran a Facebook ad on my own since leveraging this system. And the main reason for that is, while I was able to generate the lead, I did not have my own technology that enabled them to venture into my website and have the website monitor their behavior. And the fact that this website is now pushing leads similar to the one that they came in off of, it gives them what they want. And that, at the end of the day, as a sales entity, when we give the consumer, the buyer or the seller, when we give them what they want, so they click on something, they're expecting something, they get what they want, that without fail generates the most amount of legitimate leads. The problem with many Facebook and advertising in general is you run an ad and you get a response, and the person is expecting something very specific and they don't get that. And so that lead's journey is broken in how they engage you as a business and also as a lead, because they stop. But then when they expect a very specific thing and they not only get what they wanted, but they get more than what they wanted, it means more time spent on my website. It means they keep coming back to my website, which in turn, because I now own their search, I close the deal. Because now, they see my website as a resource. Yes, they could go to Zillow. Yes, they could go to Realtor.com. But listen, let me tell you, they're not. I have over 500 people in the last few days that have logged back in, not new leads, but logged back in that are old leads into my website today. I checked this morning. And that is such a big deal, is owning that search and giving them an experience that they enjoy.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And you know, to kind of expand on what Barry just said there, you know, we hear a lot from our clients about like, oh, how do I compete against Zillow? These people are just going to go back to Zillow, look for homes. You know, they have billions of dollars to spend on all of this technology. But, you know, let me tell you a secret. This is the reason why a consumer will always use the website of a real estate agent they trust than Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. Because when they're searching on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, the business objective of all of those websites is to sell that person's information to a lot of other people over and over again. That's how they make money, right? That's the entire experience. Whereas when they're on your website, on your home search website, they know, if they trust you, that their information is only going to one person, and that person is using that information not to get them to give more, you know, get cold called by a ton of people, whatever is the case. It's to refine their search and help them find their dream home, right? So the alignment of objectives with someone who is searching on an agent's page and searching on Zillow is just totally different. And so, you know, if you don't believe that, and I think most agents know that, just as a consumer, go on Zillow or go on Realtor.com and fill out a form and see how many other agents call you, right? So then you can understand and have confidence why your home search experience is going to win it.
Right, absolutely. And I think us throwing in the towel is and saying they're gonna use those websites anyway. It's a misstep. Now, look, I'm not overvaluing my individual website for the masses, but for that one lead, John Smith, you know, let's just say if John Smith sees my ad, is intrigued by my ad, and due to convenience of the lead ad form, registers and gets what he wants. And then I'm sure you'll talk about this later, and I'm coming back to him with ads to bring him back. If he values my website enough to continue to use it, then in that example, that's all I need. I just need individuals to see value in the service that I'm offering to sell them a home. So rather than saying, oh, they have millions of visitors, I'm not trying to sell them millions of homes. I'm trying to sell individuals homes and continue to do it. Rinse and repeat again and again and again and again. And so I think by thinking we've already lost the fight, you miss out on reaching those individuals and being their agent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you know, let's kind of continue on the user journey here. So and as a refresher, a consumer has seen an ad that you've created. They clicked on it and they filled out a lead ad form, which means at this point they're a lead. And now they've come to your home search website where they see the listing they viewed at the very top, and they see nearby listings from there. You know, what happens next, right? So for the consumer, their part of the journey is probably done, right? They spent 10, 15 minutes on your website. They've looked for homes. And so now the ball is in your court. And what should you be doing? So when a lead is generated from Ylopo, and you know, the goal of this you know, webinar is not to tell you what Ylopo does, but to give you best practices, right? And so what I would say is that what CRM you use, what IDX website you use to do all this kind of stuff, the brand matters less than the functionality. And the first part of the functionality is you need to get the lead from Facebook into your CRM of choice, right? And in this case, Ylopo partners with a lot of world-class CRMs, but the one that Barry uses is called Follow Up Boss. And so to get a lead from Facebook into your CRM, there's a lot of different tools for doing that. An example of one of those tools that's very popular is Zapier. Another is LeadBridge. And so you want to make sure that you're using a CRM that can actually get a Facebook lead ad into that CRM. So that's kind of step one. Step two is that when the lead comes into the CRM, you want to make sure that it comes in with as much data as possible. So in this case, this lead that registered for Barry about a month ago, right? So they registered on Virginia Beach, VAHomes.com. They were immediately assigned to one of Barry's agents. And off the bat, before we even talk about the listings this person viewed and all that kind of stuff, Barry already knows a couple of pieces of information about them. This person is a buyer. They came in off his buyer ad. He has a rough sense of their age range, where they're currently located, when would they like to move next 6 months, right? And so Barry already has a lot of information about them. And then also Barry knows immediately what we send to Barry is the first listing this person clicked on when they came into the website. That way Barry has a big intro into having a conversation with this person, right? And so you'll see right here with Follow Up Boss and with our automation, the first thing that happens is that this lead gets an initial text message from Barry. So Barry, I'm always very impressed with how you think about the psychology of contacting the buyer. Can you talk about what you did here in this initial auto text and how you used the data from the listing to facilitate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an in-house ISA named Alex, and Shantae is my agent. Alex is my ISA. So they're going to be getting messages from both of them. Because Alex is doing his job, what I want to do is allow Shantae, my agent, to automatically attempt to engage. And so the first thing we did was this email. We put the address of the lead the address of the that they came in off of in the subject of that auto email. I put where they were, right? So they were on Facebook, and so I'm trying to gain credibility immediately. And so with this, I put the lead's first name. Hi, Shivaleta. It's Shantae. Alex is reaching out, and I wanted to see what you thought about the house you saw online and then the address again. Good, bad, ugly, any feedback. All I want them to do is to respond and engage in a substantive discussion about this particular house so that I can develop trust, even through text. You can do it. Add value by teaching them something. And then the hope would be to set some kind of follow-up appointment. But again, you've got about 3 seconds to gain the lead's trust with a text message like this. So you've got to try to reference as much as possible in that initial message that you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I won't go into the deep dive into how Barry goes about following up. But you could see here all of the conversation Barry is having with the lead. So working a lead properly, nurturing a lead properly, that is a art and science of itself that we're going to cover in a future webinar. However, the thing that I wanted to share with you is, in addition to the initial contact information of the lead, what other types of information should you be capturing? What should you expect from a CRM or a IDX provider, that you're working with? So the bare minimum, I would say, is that if you were going to use any vendor, whether it was Ylopo, whether it was another platform, is when a lead comes in, you need to be able to know what are the homes that person has viewed, right? With the Ylopo platform, we have a platform called Ylopo Stars, which is where we have all of the data about what this person is interested in. So this particular lead was generated a month ago. The last time they visited was 3 hours. Here's their average price point. They viewed 99 listings. So they're very engaged. In just 1 month, they visited 9 times. And from here, Barry's able to see in the last visit that they came in, what are the homes that they viewed? What are the homes they viewed multiple times? All of the listings that they've looked at, and easily sort all of those listings, all of the homes they favorited, adjust their listing alert, doing all of that kind of stuff, right? So if your platform that you're working with, that you're getting, either you're looking at a demo or you're using it right now, ask yourself, when you generate a lead from a platform like Facebook and they come into this CRM, do you have full visibility into everything this person is doing? If you don't, then you're not meeting the bare minimum of the tool set that you need to work this lead effectively.
And gosh, there's so much here. And let me just say this. You've only got so much time in the day. And you're sitting down in front of your CRM. Most of my agents instantly get overwhelmed with the amount of information that's in front of them, in our Follow Up Boss CRM. And what we're able to do by leveraging this platform and how it integrates with our CRM very tightly, my agents have been trained to first start with new leads, but then as they transition through, because even at 1,000 leads a month, that's only what, like 30 some odd leads a day, something like that. Which is a lot, but when you've got 20 agents, it's very manageable. And they're able to filter the leads and say, I only want to call the people that are 30 days older that came in a month ago that have been on my website in the last hour. And they're able to do that. And I always tell them an old lead that is still shopping on our website is better than a new lead because they're still looking. They haven't found what they're looking for, but they are more educated a month into the process. And the fact that I'm able to quickly click a column header and look at how many listings they've saved, I can't tell you how happy I am to look at Chevaletta and the fact that she has been in my database for a month and she is just all over saving, favoriting, sharing, re-engaging constantly. This is why I close so much. It's not because I just buy a bunch of leads. It's the leads that we get, they stay with us. And it's because we've planned out our marketing, leveraging technology and being strategic in how we're spending our money.
Absolutely. So from here, again, I think we could, Barry and I could go on for hours about the art and science of nurturing and converting leads. The goal of today's webinar is to give you the basic tools to think about how you might either do your own Facebook marketing or leverage another provider. And so I'm going to zoom back out for a second and go back to advertising. So the ad that you're seeing right here, New Virginia Beach, homes for sale, motivated seller, etc. I'll tell you right now, this ad has been live for less than a month. And our average cost per lead for generating lead on this ad is roughly speaking about $4 to $5. So it's very cheap. It's very effective. It's great. And I'm sitting here telling you right now, you can build this ad yourself, right? You don't need a vendor to do it. You can do it yourself. Will it take a lot of time? Yes. For someone who knows how to do this like myself, this ad would take roughly about 15 minutes to create. For a novice, I would say give yourself an hour to an hour and a half to learn the intricacies of Facebook in order to create an effective Facebook lead ad, but we've given you the blueprint. So if you took the time and you did this, you're gonna get leads from it, right? Now here's the second part of the complexity of marketing on Facebook, however.
Wait, hold on. I gotta interrupt you. I don't want to disagree with you publicly, G, but I get that it would take an hour and a half for them to generate a lead, but I'm a part of several large Facebook groups, 80,000 plus agents, and I can't tell you how many of them complain about Facebook leads, and it's because they only thought through that initial hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can do it. I can do that. I can upload 4 pictures and write something and send it. And because they haven't thought about the rest of it, which is actually, in my opinion, more important, that's why they say the leads aren't any good. And here is a guy like me who's absolutely crushing it because you've got to think through the whole system. So again, G, you're way smarter than me. Forgive me, but I had to disagree with you there for a minute.
Well, I actually think you're getting to the preview part of what I wanted to talk about. I mean, to your point, Barry, oftentimes we think about advertising as the first ad, that first initial investment of creating the ad, right? And getting it on Facebook. But every person that has done Facebook marketing in the past will tell you that Facebook is unique in that the ad that you run that works really well in month 1, by month 3 or 4, it's gonna not work anymore, right? Facebook is very unique in that regard. Why is that the case? The reason is because when you first go out and market a home on Facebook, you're not targeting kind of anyone in the country. You're targeting a very narrow area, right? So this home, for instance, in Chesapeake, I'm probably targeting people who live in Chesapeake with a certain demographic, that is within 15-mile radius of Chesapeake. Why is that? Because based on recent NAR research, they've shown that the average home buyer ends up buying a home that is within 15 miles of where they live, right? So we use all of that insight in how we target our ads. But how many people are we really talking about here? For the Chesapeake area, I would venture to guess with this particular ad that we're running today, there is probably around 50,000 people that we are targeting, right? Which seems like a big number, but if you think about the number of people who are actually in that audience who is interested in buying a home in the next year or so, we're talking about a much smaller number, right? And so if those people that are actually interested in buying a home, they see a home that's interesting, it's well marketed, captures their attention, the first time they see it, they might click on that ad. The 5th time they see it, they might still click on that ad, but the 100th time, the 200th time they see the ad, they're going to tune out, right? Because they said, oh, I already seen that ad before. Why would I click on it again, right? This is something that as digital advertisers, we call ad fatigue, right? You get fatigued when you see the same ad over and over again. So when you're doing Facebook marketing, you have to make sure that you are monitoring your ads performance and over time creating new ads, right, that resonate around the same topic. Now what's great about marketing a listing in particular is that there are some natural opportunities for you to create different ads. So for example, at Ylopo, what we do is when we market a home, we don't just create one ad for it. We actually create 7 simultaneous ads. We create a new home for sale ad, an open house, a 30 days on the market, price reduction, 60 days, 6 months, and a pending and sold ad, right? Why do we do this? We do this because when the MLS tells us that there is an open house, when there is something happening with the ad, with the house, we will actually automatically turn on the ad that is relevant to that particular stage of the home. And we will change the copy, we will change the photo rotation so it looks like a completely different ad. Now, we do this in an automated way. As soon as you have an open house, you tell the MLS, you're going to see that data right here. However, this is also something that you can do on your own. When you have an open house, you can build a new open house ad. When you have a price reduction, you can build a price reduction ad, right? But that's a very important part of this process.
Right.
We are Barry and I talk every single day, and we geek out about Facebook marketing, and so we could go on for hours and hours. And we're going to definitely make this a webinar series, so don't worry. There's a lot more that we're going to teach you about the advanced parts of marketing on Facebook. I think today you've already learned a lot, and these are things that you can try yourself, or at least now you're going in with enough knowledge, whether you're doing this yourself or working with a vendor, to understand what are the best practices. So let me recap for you really fast about the things that you should have learned today. The first is, if you're going to go and start doing Facebook marketing, whether it's the first time or you're an experienced marketer, the easiest asset as a real estate agent that you can market is your own home. And so use that to your advantage. The second is that if you're going to advertise on Facebook, don't put all of the information that the consumer wants right up front. When you do that, you take away their motivation to want to register for an ad. The next thing is that if you're going to generate leads on Facebook and your goal is not just to get exposure for the home, but actually to find buyers that you can work with, you're going to want to use the Facebook lead ad format, because that format captures the most accurate leads in the most cost-effective manner. But generating that lead from the Facebook lead ad isn't enough. You want to make sure that when the consumer actually goes to your home search website after registering, they see the content that they registered for, and that they get to see other content that's similar. So it breaks the pattern of, I'm on Facebook, I'm browsing for content, I click on the ad, into, I'm now looking for homes. And you want to make sure that all the data of what they're looking for is captured and sent to your CRM in a way where you can easily access that information, so that when you call that person, you know exactly what to say to that individual. So that is, in a nutshell, the user experience you want to make sure that you have for consumers. And then the last thing is, it's not enough. Don't pat yourself on the back if you run an ad and you're getting a really good CPL or cost per lead, and you're getting a lot of engagement on the ad. Don't rest on your laurels, because I guarantee you, if that ad is the only ad you run, you're not going to be happy with the results in 2, 3, 4 weeks. So go ahead and invest the time in building out many different ads that speaks to the different stages of that listing, and make sure that you change your ad up over time, right? So all of those things you have to do as best practices around Facebook advertising if you want it to be effective. So that's the summary of everything that you hopefully have learned from today's webinar. Now, I'll take a minute or two here to talk about Ylopo, what we do, and kind of, if you're interested in trying our services, I'll kind of explain to you how we work and what our pricing looks like. So with Ylopo, we don't just advertise on Facebook for you. You're actually getting a large suite of technology. You're getting an IDX home search website built around a beautiful, customizable, branded website for your brand. We generate leads for you, but we do all of it in a state-of-the-art platform that we call Mission Control, where you have full visibility into how much we're spending on your behalf. You can turn your ads on and off whenever you want. You can change your budget. You can change your city location. And more important than anything else, you can see exactly how Ylopo is advertising you, advertising your listings, and you can go in and you can actually change all of the content here if we are doing something that you don't like. So it's more than just hiring a digital marketing expert. It's actually taking a trust but verify approach to everything that we're doing. We're really the only platform that are out there doing it at this level. And from a price perspective, you can actually license Ylopo to start generating leads on your behalf for as low as $4.95 a month for all of our technology, including digital marketing experts like myself, to run all of the ads for you. And for only $4.95 a month, that's what you pay us for our platform fee, we will manage up to $300 of advertising budget for you on Facebook to generate new leads, and $300 more to generate or to remarket and engage your existing leads coming back. To give you some sense of what that number means, for $300, our average cost per lead right now is around $5 to $6. So for that amount, you're going to get 50 to 60 leads generated to work with, right? So, for that cost and for getting a digital marketing expert to do all of this for you, that is pretty much the lowest I've seen it in the industry, and frankly, the lowest I've seen in the industry ever since the last 10 years that we've done this. And the reason that we're able to charge so little is because of all of the automation and cutting edge technology that we're bringing to bear into this experience, as well as all of the technology maturing on platforms like Facebook. So if you're interested in checking this technology out, learning more about what makes us different and why we're one of the only real estate companies that Facebook has ever done a case study on our success, and not just one, but we're in the process of doing 2 more case studies with Facebook, because they are using us as the best of breed example for how leads should be generated on Facebook. So right now, for clients who have not used this before, in order to showcase our technology, if you join our platform, we're offering you $500 of free advertising credit to go toward marketing your listings and to generating leads for you. So just come to ylopo.com or register on the form after you watch this webinar, and one of our members of our business development team will go over with you all of our features. So feel free to come check us out if you're interested in taking us up on that offer. But more than anything else, I hope you learned more about how to market on Facebook, and that you have greater amount of knowledge when you're doing this yourself or you're engaging with another vendor to do this on your behalf. Any last words, Barry?
I didn't know you were going to offer that deal. And that's better than what I got when I first started. And so a little a little jealous, but it's okay because my ROI is through the roof, and I don't want to have a scarcity mindset. For those of you that are watching this, I run a very successful team, and Ylopo is in the heart of it. They're super sneaky. Their tentacles are in every part of my business: seller acquisition, buyer acquisition, remarketing, and keeping and nurturing the leads at a high level. They got their fingers in every part of my business, and I honestly couldn't be happier. So for what it's worth, I know we haven't personally met. Take my word for it. You will not be sorry, especially with what he just said. I didn't know they were going to offer that.
And to get that offer, we've set up a special landing page for you to be able to capitalize on that. So ylopo.com/webinar. Just go there, put in your information, sign up, and you're going to be able to get credited that $500.
Awesome. All right. Thanks everyone for attending. We'll be back soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Barry.